log on, but I don't want to be responsible for email.
I hope it's pull it up here. Okay, at 6 p.m. September 17th, and I call this meeting to order and have roll call, please.
Bluffland. Here. Bernadone.
Here.
Conzak.
Here.
Britt.
Yes.
Olson. Here. Gans, yes. Zimmer.
Yes.
Mr. Ketchum.
Here.
Ms. Mel.
Here.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to open the fiscal year 26 budget hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call when you're ready.
All right. Let's see. Gans, yes. Bernadone.
Yes.
Conzak.
Yes.
Britt.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Bluffland.
Yes.
Zimmer.
Yes.
Did we check, does anyone sign in for this?
Hey, do we have folders for our stuff? I would like to know what our orders. Where's our sheet? There is dessert.
Did you want to speak on the budget?
Why?
Yeah. Well, since you signed in, I have to ask if you want to.
Oh, I just thought everybody signed in when they came in.
Okay.
Oh, I thought everybody had to sign in.
No, everybody has to sign.
Wait 5 minutes.
Just a few comments that you guys, I've already mentioned this to you before, but a school's budget represents its best guess of upcoming expenses. There's no way you could know what's lurking out there in the future. There could be something, big expense that's lurking out there, but obviously we don't know that yet. We're well protected in that regard with fund balances, but just want to make sure that was mentioned.
I think the biggest thing I noticed was the budget's about the same or down a little bit. And then I think our taxes are slightly up, but that's just based on valuation rather than actual increase. Our tax level's been the same for like 12 years or basically.
That was one of the things that when I was first hired on, the board at that time was very adamant about making sure that the tax rate was going to remain that way for the foreseeable future. And so that's why I tried to maintain.
I'm not sure if they can hear you on that.
Listen to it.
Yeah, where was I going with that?
You're doing a great job, Bob.
Yeah, I had some more comment now.
I know we were concerned about transportation, but looking at it, it looks like we should be running excess. in transportation expenses estimated, right? 'Cause that's based on our new state estimate.
The thing to keep in mind is that, like I said before, is we're being reimbursed at a lower rate this year than we have traditionally been in the past. And so that's something to keep in mind that when this spring and early summer, we do the transportation reimbursement, that we'll see less money from ISB in regards to that. Well,
That won't be reflected till next year's budget, right? Because we don't get paid
Right,
till like
yes.
August, so the payment this year is from
Right.
last year. But we're still projected to be well in the black, is what I'm saying.
One thing I was going to mention is, I think I mentioned this to you before as well, is that just from what I'm hearing, that the climate in Illinois as far as fiscally, the phrase that continually sticks out in my mind is that there's clouds in the future, but there's no storm yet. We've been very in pretty good shape in the last 7 to 8 years as far as how schools are financed and state finances. But like I said, I think things are going to change in the future as far as fiscally from the state's perspective. And so we'll have to make sure that we continually look ahead in that regard.
I think that's good. You tighten stuff and make it look like somebody else's fault, you will do so.
Have you talked to the PTC about the backpacks?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, there's stuff like that.
Okay, it's 6:05. Can I have a motion to adopt the fiscal year 26 budget?
A motion.
Second. Roll call when you're ready.
Bernadone,
Yes.
Contact,
Yes.
Riddick,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
McLaughlin,
Yes.
Zimmer.
Yes.
Gans, yes.
One thing I would ask is I'm going to send this around, and this is the cover page for the budget that I'll have to file. Next to your name, under where it says members voting yay, just sign your name next to your name.
Side, okay. Can I have a motion to adjourn the September 17th, 2025 public hearing at 6:05 PM?
Second.
Roll call when you're ready.
All right. Riddick,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Gans, yes. Zimmer,
Yes.
McLaughlin,
Yes.
Bernadone.
Yes.
Contact.
Yes.
Right.
This meeting order at 6:06 on September 17th. We'll do pledge of allegiance first.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And when you're ready, Matt.
We have to do honors.
I don't know. I guess
We'll do
we'll
it quick.
just.
McLaughlin. Yes. Bernadone.
Yes.
Contact.
Yeah.
Riddick,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Gans, yes. Zimmer.
Yeah.
Mr. Ketchum.
Yes.
Ms. Malcolm.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, you're up.
So recognition, just want to recognize Mrs. Malcolm as well as the TGS staff for all their work getting the 25-26 school year kicked off. We're off to a good start, and I appreciate all their work and effort that has gone into getting us to this point and keeping us looking good and you know, classrooms running smoothly. And so appreciate their efforts in that regard.
All right. Do you do this as one motion, or do you want to, can I, everybody look at the agenda, and then it was fine, can I have a motion to approve the agenda for September 17th, 2025?
Do we have to prove if it didn't change?
I don't know, I don't.
No, there's no changes. Just approve the
says
agenda
motion.
for September 17th.
We'll go down to the consent agenda, the district bills.
Wait, hold on, we have to take a vote to approve the agenda.
Oh, I thought Matt's answer was no.
I'll motion. I'll second. All right, McLaughlin.
Yes.
Bernadone.
Yes.
Contact.
One more. Yes.
Riddick.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Gans, yes. Zimmer.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know, it's the word motions in there, read it, so, okay. Consent agenda. Went through the August regular board meeting, executive session, district bills, treasurer's report. Anybody have any questions on what they saw? Do you want to talk about the FOIAs?
3 FOIAs this month. One of them from quote Get Star Jump. Don't know what that organization is. I didn't find a lot of information out about that, but the actual FOIAs are embedded into the agenda as well. Our friend Owen Wang is back with his requests, and so those have been granted as well. And so again, all 3 of those language and the FOIAs are in the agenda as well.
The state funding, I looked today, is at 4.453. That's that other 200,000 we have sitting over there. Any questions on the bills or anything that you guys looked through?
Do we have to give them the one with the names of the students? That doesn't seem like something you
I
would
told
pull
them
out.
I had it. They don't get the students.
Yeah, that's what I think we could do that.
What did we, okay, the August personnel report was for athletics and it was just changing the wording.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just the track position was listed incorrectly in August, so it was corrected on that.
I'm sorry, I got a quick follow-up. Matt, you asked if we give them the names, you said no?
No, we don't give names. I just told them that our kids go to LaSalle for a school.
So it's not a problem that it says request granted on there?
The request was granted. That's why I put that on there. I'm telling you that we granted their request.
So they got information, just not information.
I didn't give them any names. I just said our 8th graders go to LaSalle for a school.
All right, nobody has any questions? Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Roll call when you're ready.
Bernadone?
Yeah.
Contact?
Yeah.
Riddick?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Gaines, yes. Zimmer? McLaughlin? Yes.
I have your financial report.
So financial report, keep in mind, just a reminder that this is as of the end of August, because our month isn't quite over yet. So we're about where we should be typically at this time of year for the month of August in terms of each fund and where we're at. And so again, the operating funds are the ones that are the funds that get the most transactions, and those are always the ones that we track the closest.
Any questions on it? Can I have a motion to approve the September financial report?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Contact?
Yes.
Riddick?
Yes.
Olson?
Yes.
Gaines, yes. Zimmer?
Yes.
McLaughlin? Yes. Bernadone?
Principal's report.
Hello, everybody. Here with me.
I spoke too soon. That it was working great.
Ah, that's okay.
Well, all right. No idea what's going on here, people. Technical difficulties. Sorry.
You get the chalkboard out, you could draw that, right?
I
What is
could.
it,
I know. I had cool things to show you guys. One more time, and then I'm gonna say, forget it. It's not in the cards. or anything.
Oh, there we go. Don't move.
Don't breathe. I'm kidding. Okay, so upcoming important dates tomorrow's fall pictures, and also the Tonica Grade School Foundation Board fundraiser. The spaghetti dinner is tomorrow night at Aces and Eights. I hope to see all of you there. $13 for spaghetti or chicken strips dinner.
Do you want a certain shirt if we're working?
I was probably gonna wear my Tonica Viva Spark shirt because I'm gonna be working it. October 1st, I have confirmed with Hy-Vee Pharmacy, and we are for sure doing the flu shot clinic, and they also mentioned COVID vaccine, that some of the elderly people would like to still have that. I'm supposed to be getting a link. They can only launch the link 2 weeks out, so now I should have it, probably get it tomorrow. I have a flyer ready, and I'd like to get the flyer posted in as many locations as possible throughout the community. I believe we have somebody who said that they would help give rides, if anybody needs rides.
I'll be there.
Okay, so we'll have, like, if anybody, I'll put it on the flyer, if they need rides, they can call the school, and we can transport, and Hy-Vee will be set up right here. It'll be nice. They just have to bring their insurance. All right, October 8th, our 8th graders are going to LP to do their pre-ACT testing, which will entail, kind of determine where they land with classes and things like that. And then October 10th is our LaSalle County Teacher Institute. No students on that day. Teachers are doing professional development and then fun staying at school. Okay, so iReady, as you guys know, this is our newest initiative. Besides our new math curriculum, I feel like things have been going really well. All of our students have now taken their fall diagnostic, so I'm just going to kind of go over it a little bit to see where we're at and where we can have some growth. So this is reading, and I'll just kind of show you by grade level. So the green stripe is mid or above grade level. Green is early on grade level. Yellow is 1 grade below. Red is 2 grades below, and the striped red is 3 or more grades below. Generally in the fall, we're probably going to see more yellow because kids are still testing at their previous grade because it's the beginning of the school year, right? Somewhere in that. So here's where we're at with reading. Pretty much kind of where we want to be. So that's that. And then for math, here's where we are for math. Okay, so now what? So what are we doing about this? I've initiated the Spark time that the kids have time to work in iReady to do RTI interventions and things like that. We're also looking at, I shared this out with the teachers. So what I do is I look at, now that the kids are all done, and if you see a 0, it's because a kiddo was still literally getting their diagnostic done through last week. So now I think everybody's done. Everybody finished as of Friday. So I look at percent of lessons passed, as well as how many average minutes they're doing in math and reading. So what the goal is that each child should have at least 45 minutes of ELA or reading and 45 minutes of math. That is the kind of proven sweet spot, I kind of call it, to know that our kids will then start making progress, and that's what we want to see. So we have dedicated time for every child K through 8 to work on this stuff. So now I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, I'm not seeing 45 minutes in reading. What's going on with this kiddo? And then, what can we do to support? So then we also have our kiddos that we kind of recognize that are in that red striped area that are really quite below. They're getting extra interventions in the afternoon as well as needed. So we're really trying to target the needs of the grades, as well as just helping identify like what kind of supports our kids need. We have some teachers here and they're starting to dive into, because there's so many things in iReady to help, guide like what are our next steps, what do we need to do. What's cool about it, and I'm not going to click in any grades because I don't want to like violate FERP or anything. However, what's cool about it is when a teacher goes in, it automatically groups kids by their ability and how they tested their diagnostic. They click in that group and it says, target this area, here's resources for you, boom. And then they can print out the resources and work in small groups and do all the things that are needed. So I'm really excited. I think that the staff's done a great job of rolling this out with the kids and really emphasizing to the students the importance of what we're doing and why we're doing it. And, just helping with that academic growth. And so I'm very proud of the staff. I think they've done a really great job with it. And, you guys want to say anything about it?
It's a lot more easy to start with what and you don't have to reinvent the wheel to come up with things that help the kiddos.
Yeah.
And even the kids on a higher end, it will give resources to support them as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing I think that's so neat about iReady, and that was the one thing that I'm like, once you dive in as a teacher and you're in the thick of everything and you have all these other things and so many moving pieces throughout the school day, it's nice to know like, hey, I got to work on this skill with this student. It's there for you, and you don't have to go and try and find it and research and oh my gosh, I have to Google or go to teachers pay teachers or whatever. Like things are there at their fingertips. So that's really cool. So I'm super excited to see the trajectory and how things go moving forward. Yes.
Is the criteria for grade level, is that set at state? Who sets that?
I set it by their grade that they're in.
And you do it.
Yeah, I set all that up.
Like,
Yep. So they test it at their grade, but the thing about the diagnostic is it follows the student. So as they answer correct, the questions get harder. If they miss questions, it goes back down. And it keeps doing that until it really gets a good solid foundation of where the student is at. As long as the student really applied themselves and didn't kind of blow through it. So, you know, for the most part, would you say on average it took the kids about 60 minutes to do both diagnostics? Because we chunked it out. We didn't have them do it all in one sitting. It wasn't something, we really wanted to get a good, accurate picture of where the kids are sitting. And these test results, the diagnostic results will be going home. So you'll get a detailed report.
Can you pull that back up? I just want to see the math and the reading scores from the whole again.
There's math, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Did you want to see reading again?
Yeah, can you show me the reading?
Sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, woohoo. So campus safety, the emergency handbook has been updated. It is now posted. Everything is accurate in it. We've had our fire drills, our tornado drill, our lockdown. The staff has gone through Alice training, which I feel everybody thought was super beneficial. And then on September 25th, Mark Zimmer and myself we are both going to IVCC. There's a new reunification plan that is kind of an initiative throughout the county, throughout the area, especially for rural schools, that should there ever be a violent situation, we're talking worst case scenario, what would we do? How would we clear the kids out safely? And so the ROE and pretty much like the local law enforcement have gotten together and they've decided that IVCC would be kind of the landing spot where parents would reunify with their children, and the ROE would supply the busing and everything like that. So we're going through training on the 25th, just so that we have a really good solid foundation of that plan. So God forbid we ever have to launch it, but at least we have something solid. And then CPR training is on October 1st. So lots going on October 1st, but it's good things. All right, so PBIS, we had our committee meeting met in August. That was one of the other things that I was, working on, trying to get that back on track. So we've really re-implemented a lot of expectations. We met, as I mentioned last month, we came together and came up with what are our classroom management versus office referral type things. And now that's kind of gone into, now we're starting to see it implemented. So I'm busy, but it's good. It's good. And then our first quarter celebration is on October 4th. After report cards go out, this is a preliminary plan. Grades K-4 are going to get pumpkins, popcorn, and a movie, and grades 5 through 8 are going to have a choice of a dodgeball tournament, pumpkins, popcorn, a movie, or an art project with Mr. Tea Garden. So we wanted to kind of hit kind of all the different areas so kids have choice, because who doesn't like to have choice in life?
So we
Right.
for PBIS again?
We're going to be doing fundraising we're going to be getting some help with the PTC. I think I had $250 to start with, so I'll take anything I can get though, because I got a really cool plan for quarter 4. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
So are you gonna tell us?
It's a surprise.
So you need money for PBIS, is what you're saying?
I'll take it. Yes, I do. Okay, and then makerspace. So I've been busy. So drone training took place on September 8th. We had
Oh, do you want anything on enrollment, or is that just so we look at it?
enrollment's the same.
No changes, sorry.
No changes.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
No, you're fine. I'm sorry. I just totally went whoop right over it. All right. So makerspace. We have update September 2025. So we have finished the cabinets. The wonderful crew of people helped organize all the materials, and everything's been inventoried now. We have had a lot of stuff. The amount of robots we have is crazy. And then Amy Graham through the LTC, the Learning Technology Council, is starting to help me because I'm like, I don't have time to, I'm like, we want to get kids in hands, working in this. So as we started talking with the teachers, we want to make sure that we don't overwhelm the teachers because they have a lot of other things. But Amy's going to start doing one-on-ones with them and start training them on how to utilize the different pieces. And so then we're finding lesson ideas. And then Julian and Joe, they've been such a huge help. Julian Teagarden is our art teacher, and Joe Cook is our music teacher. So they actually went to a drone workshop so that they could learn how to fly the drones. Oh, we have video. Hang on, that's insane. So why are we using drones? Critical thinking, fine motor skills, task-oriented, teamwork, real-life applications. Jen was talking to me about like the fact that farmers are using it to help with crops and things like that. So here's a little video of them. Just, I don't even know if you can see it. They're really good.
I think we were very lucky to get Ben Sonnegrod because he's one of the best out there.
So there's an upcoming workshop. Teachers have the choice if they wanted to go to the Learning Technology Council's STEM thing, they could go to it. And then if they do go, they get Finch robots to also add to the makerspace. So Amy was all excited about that. So Amy is actually going to model lessons for teachers. She's doing one-on-ones with them, and then they're going to get to choose what STEM lessons or STEAM lessons they want to do, and Amy's going to be there to help her. And then the teachers will be launched and be able to take control of the makerspace and get the stuff in the hands of kids. So there's planning over the next 2 weeks to meet with all the teachers, and they're going to plan a lesson to teach together and then talk about all the different makerspace materials. And that's kind of like the preliminary schedule we have. And then we're just going to get started. And I have some of the robots out if you guys want to check them out after the meeting, just to play with.
So who all was trained on the drones?
His name is Ben Sonbrad. Oh, here, our art and music teacher. So then they can show the kids how to do it. Because I wanted to make sure the adults knew how to do it before we gave it to the kids. Just, one of those things. Yeah. We found out that that the blades are quite fickle, so we have to have a lot of blades. Because, you're going to crash into things. Mm-hmm. It's going to happen, They're drones. So that's that. That's my report. And I just, I'm excited about tomorrow. Hope you guys will go. And the PTC's been awesome. We've also done our planning meeting for the Thanksgiving lunch. And I also have talked to Lowell Bengi about our veterans program, and we're getting that organized as well. So there's a lot of things coming up.
We have a mannequin and a couple pets that Tom I think Amy's gonna be fixing it up. So
excited.
if not, I can bring it up one day too.
I
They're scaring the crap out of me every time I walk out of my
Please
house.
get out of here. That's so funny. So I have uniforms from every military branch except for the Coast Guard. And I know it's Illinois, but maybe somebody somewhere has a Coast Guard uniform. Maybe. Oh, that'd be so cool. All right.
Yeah, and I don't, since it's on the kind of like principles, I think Ricky, maybe next time we'll have you sign in, but if you want to talk about what PTC is doing, next time we'll have you sign in. I'll enjoy it.
Couple minutes.
Oh, Bob says couple minutes.
Okay, so, thanks for letting PTC come to a monthly update. We're excited about the chance to know what we're working on, what's coming up, and where the board can be able to support us. I'm happy to be here for the first update moving forward. I think I'll have a member of the PTC come, just so you can see all the faces in our group and not just me all the time. I know you guys see me, but everybody else. So before I continue, I just want to take a moment to recognize the new principal, Tracy. She's been an incredible asset to us, school and the PTC. She brings fresh ideas, responds quickly, and shows up to our meetings ready to collaborate. And we're really grateful to have her in our corner this year. We're really excited to show you how much of an impact the PTC can have for both the students and the teacher here. One of the highlights so far has been our work on the makerspace. We were able to secure $2,500 grant from Walmart, so we're looking forward to see how Tracy he gets that all together and what that's gonna look like for the kids. Another big project we're really proud of is the school supply initiative. It was a really big challenge, and thanks to local businesses, community members, and Matt here on the board, we were able to provide supplies for K-8. We got a ton of thank you messages from parents that were really heartfelt, and businesses who've actually reached out to collaborate for next year. So that was really exciting. A good way to kick off the year. Looking ahead, we have a lot of stuff in motion. Thanks also to Tracy. Our fall fundraiser is currently underway. The board can support us by buying something from a student. We have worked with the local fire department. They're going to do a fire truck ride to the fire station for lunch. That was also Tracy's idea, but when I called Al Sternlock, he was like, done. Tell me when, where. So that was really awesome. In addition to our annual events, we always do teacher treats every month, slush fund grants, staff grants, Halloween activities. We're really excited about the makerspace, as I mentioned, and the new opportunity to do the concession stands for all of the home games, boys, girls, and volleyball games. So we also approved $700 for the classroom safety go bags, but since the school is now purchasing those, the funds have been returned to us. So we are discussing whether to redirect the funds toward one of our next big goals, which is a school-wide trip to Disney on Ice for students K-8. I have the ticket pricing, and the parents are super excited, but transportation is the main hurdle. The cost for 2 buses from Joanne's is $1,430, which is the same cost as the ticket itself, so doubles the cost for us to send them. We're committed to making the trip happen, so we'll probably be fundraising again to cover those costs. The $700 from the go bags that we got back will probably be the first step in the effort. We're targeting February 6th for the trip. We believe it'll be a great experience, especially for students who may not ever get the chance to go to something like that. Beyond that, Tracy introduced the idea of a new marquee, which we see as a longer-term project, hopefully in collaboration with you guys. We've also discussed potential improvements like fencing around the playground and more immediately enhancing Circle Drive to make it more welcoming and festive. As you guys have seen, Tracy and I on corn stalks on Circle Drive. So in the past, the community has come together to clean up and improve the landscaping, and we'd really like to build on that. So for example, adding mums and flowers to the planters this fall would really make the area more uniform. I've spoken with Jared from the Building and Grounds Committee, and he encouraged us to bring the idea to the board. So tonight I'd like to ask if there's a way the board could provide support or guidance to help move us forward with the Circle Drive project. We'd love to make the area a reflection of the pride we all feel in our school. So that's a look at what we have on the horizon in the near future. Thanks again for letting us share our goals. We're excited about what this year will bring and for the continued impact that TGS can make on our students, staff, and school community. The more we collaborate, the more we can accomplish together. So, for this being all of us.
Thank you so much.
I would say for fundraising, I think there's like an alumni dinner coming.
I have no idea.
Well, we talked about telling them about all the yearbooks we got, but maybe, I know there's like signs from other projects where different classes donated things, so maybe toss that out if anybody wants to help with a marquee or something.
Like the alumni.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's like a group that owns that or somebody. I don't know. It might be something where, I have no idea.
You might want to reach out to Lydia.
Yeah.
Who might know.
Yeah,
think
we
she
can
was
talk to
the-
her.
She was the one that brought it up.
And then as far as,
Alumni.
if you want mums and stuff, I can talk to Lisa at the corner garden. I'm sure she would help us out with something.
Okay.
Or cut us a deal or, yeah. If I get my kids to ask, we might get a good deal.
You might. You might. All right, Tricia, you're up.
Okay, baseball and softball seasons are both over. Unfortunately, we were winless for both. However, I have had, the same coaches ask to return. We have one 8th grader who will be playing volleyball to high school, so we will have to replace her mom, but I think that speaks a lot to, the fact that they, even though they didn't win, they still had a good time. They were all smiles, they were, you know, they really set up that team mentality going in, so that was one of our main goals. The schedules are a train wreck. That's the best way for me to put them. The girls' basketball schedule is done. They started their practice on Monday. So now I've moved on to boys basketball and volleyball to get them all straightened out. We had 3 games on one night, and you wouldn't believe what a mess we had. But I assure you, I'm working on it, and I hope to get it out in the next week or so. The only thing that I think we really need is refill supplies for our medical kits. We have just a couple ice packs and tape. So, I mean, we have somebody who's bleeding, wouldn't hurt to have some gauze and.
Tricia, you and I will talk about that later. We'll get that going.
Okay.
How many girls do we have for basketball going on right now?
16.
How's that split for like Tonica and Lawson?
We have 3 from Tonica, and the rest are from Lawson.
Kind of goes back and forth, it seems.
We are short on 8th graders. I think we only have 2.
And then when we, so like that medical buy, I'm assuming they take a box or a bag with them, right, for first aid?
Yes.
They don't take a AED with them, do they, for anything? We do have an AED that travels with softball and baseball, every sport is, okay.
It's the host school's responsibility to make sure that it's available.
It's like, when we have a game here at the other field, there's one. I didn't know if there was one at the field over there anyway. So I know there's 2 here.
And we took them to away games and had it with them.
Yeah, because I know the one thing here, it's a little confusing because we have an AED in the gym, but then there's a sign like 3 feet over from it that says AEDs in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
So it's slightly confusing.
It is.
It's like right there, but if somebody, I mean,
If you're
it's
running
pretty
in
close.
emergency.
If you're running in a hurry,
Yeah.
you're not running by it. So.
I know, that sign. Well, always let us know what you need.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll check that out.
All right. Want to introduce Mr. Well,
So tonight, we have Walt Zukowski here. Appreciate your time, Walt. Thanks for coming. Going to talk to us a little bit about TIP, our local TIP district here in town, and I'm sure the board might have questions in the meantime, and that's why he's here to answer any kind of questions. I'll turn things over to you, Walt. Thank you.
Thank you. It's great to be with you this evening. I always enjoy, as you may know, under the retainer arrangement I have with the district, I come to a free meeting once a year. And so this is free for you tonight. And I was just thinking, it feels like a while since I've been here. So maybe it was like in the fall 2 years ago when I was here last as well. But it's good to come, and I always like to come to hear what's happening in Tonica, new things and the great things going on here, and how that's different from Lost Int or Peru or LaSalle or wherever it's at. And so it's great, and I appreciate very much the opportunity to represent the district. We've had that honor for a long time, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you for that. So and I'm here to talk about TIPs, but if you have other things you want to talk about too, we can do so. From my perspective, I worked on the original TIP that you had here back in the 90s. So does everybody know what a TIF is and how it operates? Or maybe I should go give you a 2-minute thumbnail
Probably would.
background on what a TIF is. So TIF stands for Tax Increment Financing District. In the 1980s, the state of Illinois concluded that it wasn't a very good place for businesses to start and continue to operate. And so they implemented 2 tools at that point in time. One tool called an enterprise zone, which had its own set of rules, and then the other called tax increment financing districts. And to set up that district, normally a municipality has to adopt a resolution, says, here's a geographic area within our boundaries, and we want it to have the benefits of a TIF. And so then they have to go through a process, and there's a hearing on it, they vote on it, it goes into place. What we did with both of your TIFs here is to go to them early on and say, they try to whittle it down. Number one, well, can you scope down the geographic area a little bit? Can you cut down the length from 23 years a little bit? Can we have a portion of the money that comes is going to be generated off of that? And so you had an agreement back in '96, I think it was, for the first TIF. And why do we want an agreement? We want an agreement because once land is designated as a TIF, 100% of the increase in assessed valuation and tax revenue that comes off of that goes directly to the municipality. Doesn't go to the county, doesn't go to the grade school, doesn't go to the high school. It all comes to the municipality. So in essence, you're trying to operate, you've got a tax rate, you've got an overall assessed valuation, but you're not going to get anything off of that portion of land for probably a 23-year period of time. So who can live without a raise for 23 years, right? So in the statute, it says that the municipality can, if they want, allocate a portion of their money to other taxing districts in the TIF for capital cost related things. Can't do it for payroll or employee benefits, but for building an addition or painting or remodeling or putting a roof, buying equipment, you can use it for those purposes. So we negotiated the very first intergovernmental agreement between a municipality and a school district in 1986, by my recollection, over in Oglesby. And then we worked on lots of places, including Tonica, over the intervening years. And so you still are getting a portion of the money back from the TIF. Now, when we started this, there was one formula for funding schools in the state. It was the GSA formula, General State Aid Formula. And so under that arrangement, when if your assessed valuation is higher, then the money you get from Springfield, it has an inverse relationship. It goes down. It was very linear in that regard. And but at the same time, the state recognized that if we're going to just take money away from the schools for TIFs, then none of the schools are going to like this. They're going to fight it. They're going to file litigation probably in multiple places and slow down the economic growth that you have in the state. And so they said, we'll pay you, Springfield, out of our general funds, we'll give the school a portion of the money you otherwise would have gotten if the property had gone on the tax rolls. And what they were agreed to do for your district is to pay you $2.30 worth of what your tax rate would have been back then, because that was the standard that was used back in down in Springfield. When you did your first agreement, actually, back in '96, they were only giving you $1.90 for it, but it was $2.30 by the time we got around to 2018 and the second tip here. Yeah, so you're getting $2.30 of money coming out of Springfield. So while you're not getting any money off of local real estate taxes for increases in land in the TIF district, you are getting an amount of money from Springfield to compensate for that. But you still had a loss as it related to it. We put an example in your agreement that said your tax rate back in 18 was about $3.21. So your loss was basically 91 cents that you weren't getting if the property had gone on the tax rolls. So what we had negotiated in the early one and then in the more recent one is for the village to pay the difference between $2.30 and what your current tax rate was. So in essence, you'd be getting your whole amount of money that you were otherwise going to get. And this was a concept we came up with also a long time ago, and it's been very popular at various places across the state because, in essence, the schools and the municipality can have their cake and eat it too. We're not taking the whole $2.30 away from the municipality so they can keep the money and do what they want with it. But at the same time, we're getting some money from Springfield, and they're going to give us a little bit of money, 91 cents, so to speak, in our example here. And so they'll give you a little bit of the money they're getting, and then you're going to be in the same economic position you would have been, and they're in a pretty good position to be able to use it to give back to the developer on things or to improve other municipal functions, whether build a fire station or a city hall or put in roads or sewers, whatever the projects are that they need or want for themselves. And so that's kind of how it works, and that is the relationship we have here now. So an interesting point about the TIF in Tonica, when we were negotiating the new TIF in Tonica in 2018, it struck me, based upon the original TIF from '96, so it's like 22 years later, right? So the TIF lasts for 23 years, up a maximum of 23 years under the original statute. But then beyond that, the municipality can ask for an additional 12 years, and they can get that if it's approved by the General Assembly. To set up the TIF, you don't need the General Assembly's permission, but to do an extension, you do need the General Assembly's permission. And the General Assembly wasn't giving permission unless the school was saying, yes, please do this for them. If you say no, meaning we want a better deal, then they couldn't get it. So it struck me, I found it interesting, that the municipality decided that at the end of the 23 years on the first TIF, rather than go for the extension, they were asking instead to dissolve the old TIF and start with a whole new TIF, which was very similar in geographic area to the original TIF, except for land that actually did develop during the first TIF. So if you looked at the original TIF and you take out the stuff that did develop, and they had a little bit of difference on the perimeter, then that land, though, was probably 90%, that's my estimate, 90% of the new TIF was the same as was in the old TIF. So they had 23 years on that land. Now they got another 23 years on this going forward now to 2041. And then when we get to 2041, they'll make a decision on, okay, do we want to go for an extension beyond that for another 12 years, or do we want to dissolve that and go back with this? Or, heaven forbid, that it actually goes on the tax rolls the way it existed prior to the first TIF being in place. And I'm not trying to be critical of the municipal leadership here in town at all, because I think you have, in terms of negotiations and demeanor and professionalism, I have nothing but good things to say about the people who are in charge here when that happened. But generally, I mean, I've worked on 50 or 60 TIFs in my career. But what I see here, I see happening lots of places. And there are some places, so here they decided, okay, let's just do a brand new TIF for another 23 years. I see other places where they go the 12-year route instead for an extension, but they just don't do one extension. They do a second extension, and now they're on a third extension. So between the two concepts of let's just do a whole new 23 years and let's forever do 12-year extensions, I see lots of municipalities that probably will never, ever put their assessed valuation back on the tax roll. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen in time, but I see that possibility happening in a lot of communities across the state. And, so it's something to think about, something to be aware of. And why is that the case? Because the municipality can use the money for their own needs. Like I said before, they can build roads, they can do sewers, they can give money to developers, they can build buildings for themselves. But if they don't have TIF money to do that, how do they raise it? A referendum, right? They have to go back to the voters and ask them, heaven forbid, to give us some money to do this. And so many municipalities have grown addicted to TIF money. And it's going to be hard to wean them off of that going forward, which is why we see these concepts of keep renewing things and doing new things going forward. And that's TIF 101. Sure, please.
So my understanding, when you described it, that these agreements are a way to make the school district whole relative to the assessed values, right?
Yeah.
So have we historically gotten all of that money? I mean, is there really, at the end of the day, a difference in the money in our accounts between what would have been the case had the TIF never existed?
Yeah. So no one has told me you haven't gotten the money. So every year,
We get some of them.
so every year, the municipality has to have a joint review board meeting, meaning all the taxing bodies that are in the community get invited to a meeting and they tell you, well, here's how the TIF went last year. Here's what we did, and here's a new development that came along, and then they give out checks. And so I would have thought, your auditor would have noticed to the extent you weren't getting what you were supposed to be getting. But Jennifer, do you have other comments on that?
Just briefly looking at it and not knowing what I'm looking at, we were getting some money, yes.
Good.
But the whole idea is we're looking at maybe some improvements and partnering with the village to see how much they want to be involved with that.
Sure. Yes, and that's possible. Before I forget too also, so when we did the first TIF, I mentioned to you there was a general state aid formula that was giving money to you. And then when this was put in place, that your second TIF was put in place, the old agreement was used as a template for the new agreement as well. And then shortly after that happened, so it was premised on the same principles as the first one was. Shortly after that, the state of Illinois changed their funding formula. They went away from GSA and they went to a different formula. And that formula is much more complicated now than existed under the original agreement. But you have this in place, and by my understanding, the municipality is paying you consistent as if the old formula was still in place and you're still getting your money, to the best of my knowledge. But if you think it's not, you ought to check to be sure, and it can be validated. But the primary thing that I would take away from the new formula out of Springfield is that instead of having a linear relationship with your assessed valuation and money coming out of Springfield, there now are 28 factors that they look to for school districts. And then they figure out where you fit in the big picture with all the other. state of Illinois. The General Assembly says, okay, here's a pot of money we're going to give to schools this year. And now those people that are considered tier 1, we consider you in most need based upon where you compare to other school districts on those 28 points. And if you're not quite in that first tier, then we'll look at put you in the second tier. And if you're not quite there, you're actually pretty good financially, we'll put you in the third tier. And if you're a nuclear power district, we're going to put you in the fourth tier. You guys are 1 or 2, you're 4. You're in 4. And so your assessed valuation is pretty high then by comparison. So you're not, okay.
So explain to us again what that means.
Yeah.
So that means you're getting a couple $100 a child probably out of Springfield.
You know, I mean, that could change
Yeah.
next year depending on, like I said, all that money he's talking about.
Is that good or
The
bad?
formula is a little complicated. There's several different factors that go into how much a school gets.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if we have a huge drop in enrollment, that could be impacted, as well as.
Does that mean we're getting
Yeah, is
comparatively
that good or
less
bad?
than these other districts or comparatively more?
Less.
Less. That's what I
Comparatively
mean.
less, yeah. So you mentioned you're looking at some expansion here and having money
Just
for that.
looking at
for that
avenues,
purpose.
yeah.
Yeah. So in various places, so number 1, you can strike a deal, assuming they're willing to do so, where a portion of the increment would come to you and you would get that. And so to the extent you're tier 4, you don't really have much money coming out of Springfield, like I was talking about early on under the old formula, I think that's something good to point out to them, that you're being hurt financially by the new formula as opposed to the old formula, and what the General Assembly did. And if they want to give you more money, they can give you more money. Just the same way as they can build a firehouse, they can build a wing on a school or
How do we determine how much money to ask them or to, for lack of a better term, I mean, how do we determine that figure?
I would take a look at what the annual report says for the Joint Review Board when it comes out, in terms of the kinds of development projects they have, how much are they allocating to the developer, and what's left over to be allocated to other things. Then, what are those other things normally? Municipal improvements. Then I would look to see what kind of municipal improvements they have on their wish list, and whether they got something they really need, you know, like a new sewage treatment plant or something, because the EPA is breathing down their throat. Yeah, and and see what that is. But that's how I. And then talk to them about your needs and where you stand, and then talk with your architect about what it's going to cost and you know, what can they help you with. And I've seen municipalities, you know, give money for that purpose. Number 1, even if they're not giving money per se, I've seen municipalities do an amendment to their TIF where they expand their TIF area to include the geographic boundaries of the school district. So now your land is in the TIF, and you, just like a developer, then can get some stuff, you know, for it. And either of those scenarios, I think, are definitely worth pursuing.
Can't you just take a look at whatever tax revenue we've been able to levy had the tip not been in place in the first place? And then compare that to what we received and just ask, does the municipality have a shortfall?
Yes, you can ask. What I would,
I thought that, well, my understanding of the
Significant.
agreement is that's essentially what the agreement's doing in the first
yeah,
place.
that's what they're trying to do. That's right.
Okay, yeah. So I guess what I'm confused is like, why then, how would we then have not received that?
Because the state of Illinois defined that they wanted to change how schools
Is
were.
that more recent, complicated formula you're talking
Yeah.
about? The tier?
Yep. The new, they
When was that put in place?
after the agreement.
But in
After
our,
the agreement.
so in our contract, though, it says for the purposes of this contract, our state aid number is 1.05 for the whole life of the contract. So for us, we just take our yearly tax rate, subtract 1.05, and then multiply that by the estimated annual loss value, and that's what they should pay us, right?
Well, yes and no, because what they actually were paying you was 2.30 back then.
That's not what our contract says.
It does in a different place, in the prior.
It says it as an example, but it states in the next paragraph that for the purposes of this contract, that number should be 1.05. So that's the contract that we signed. Because I estimate for last year, we should have got like 25 grand, and we got like 8.
8?
Yeah.
You said?
And then if you look at, then if we're using the 2.3, then it kind of makes a little more sense. But then for Jared's question, if you go look at what we actually shorted, it's like $38,000. I mean, Casey's and Dollar General is like $60,000 in taxes alone.
So
They're getting that aren't going anywhere else.
So there's nothing wrong with asking them to give you a calculation. How much money did you get in? What are the factors you used to decide on how much to cut us a check for?
Yeah, because I don't think the calculation is being done for the contract. That's my first thought of looking at it.
It definitely should be looked at, yeah.
So we don't want to burn any bridges. We want to make sure the village grows, but we want to have a conversation with them if they're willing to have it. So what do you think our next steps would be? Review to make sure their contract matches ours and there's no
It
challenges
does.
with that?
We have their version. We have the
No.
signed copy, right? It's the same.
I
I
believe
mean,
so.
Walt gave us the copy. That's where I got that number from. It's from the contract he provided. So
And then we probably
I'm
need
assuming that's our legal
to
contract.
sit down and just ask our questions with them and go
Yeah.
from there.
So I think, like you said, I think they're using the example as the number, but the contract states it's a different number. So we're getting like less than half what we should.
Yeah, I left it at home tonight, but I believe it
I have a
was under,
screenshot. from
was it
when-
under 12? You said it was 8?
I took a screenshot from when I sent it to you back in May or
Yeah.
June or whatever. Because I looked at the last like 5 years and we were due like 100,000 and all. I think we got anywhere near that.
So my guess would be that the clerk probably gets a letter from the TIF consultant who they work with to put it together every year and says, here's what should pay out. So, but eventually, yeah, we need to get to the bottom of what they're doing and how they're calculating those things to be sure you're getting what you're entitled to.
Did you by chance review the map? And did you have time to do that of the RTIP district?
I did not look at the map.
I didn't expect you to, but to me, it looks like it's the whole town except for the subdivision.
There's a chunk right in the middle that's, no, the chunk in the middle is like what it is, right?
But there was a chunk somewhere in the middle of that tip that's not a tip, not part of it.
There's like a strip down. I mean, yeah, there's a bunch around, but then, yeah. I got too many things like that. With this, my work is on there, so.
Yeah, our next meeting, Walt, is like deciding what capital projects we want to do. So we appreciate your time.
So the areas in yellow are what is considered TIF, so that's down that kind of corridor through the park, down like downtown is all in there. Some of the farmland and stuff around is in there.
This is you guys, like right over here, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, and so this is Casey's here? Is it?
No,
No,
that's
no,
just
Casey's.
singular.
Casey's is here.
That's Dollar General.
Oh,
Casey's.
Dollar
So
General.
catty corner from that one.
Yeah.
So,
I think the old one, they had like this part in here and it had like Northern Partners and some other stuff, but.
yeah, so, well, I guess the good news is that if you wanted to add your property, I believe that this is indicating that this parcel up here is again. So if this is not in, I'm presuming that's because it developed. And
So that was pretty recent.
They don't need it. This one seems to be in
I think they were sort of doing,
ballpark.
it was advertised as being switched to mixed use, but then the farm guy, that company that's out there is using it for a test field now. Did you think the more politically appropriate would be to ask to be included or ask for, which is the nicer way?
I think 6 of one or half a dozen of another. I would leave the choice up to the municipality as to what would work better for them. Let them kind of analyze how they can work things out. But, if they have commitments to give 50% of the increment to a developer, that's going to significantly cut down the amount of money potentially available to give to the school here too, right? So it's good from your annual joint review board meeting to see who has agreements, what portion of the increment they're taking, so you can figure out, well, do they have 5% available or do they have 45% available?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you have it in here?
I don't have it.
That's
I can look at it, but yeah, I think we just talk to them and see how it's being calculated. I'm assuming it's not being calculated exactly for the contract, but then it's come to an agreement. It's like if we don't, like at the end of the last TIF, it looked like their numbers for the EAB was really high. Like in the millions.
Well, it went from farmland to Casey's.
Well, yeah, but like when you looked at the EAB from, when I went back and looked at the county records, the EAB increment was like $4 million. So if you look at that formula, like that's a giant chunk of change, but
Yeah.
But then, yeah, like I think 2020, or around whenever that new one took over, that's around when it started. But, because then all the numbers got reset. So, it just seemed like it's where the conversation was going. I mean, I don't expect it to get completely back right off the bat, but give part of it back that we were owed, and then something, sidewalks or something for the school or something.
Yeah.
I think there's always improvements we can make to make things safer.
Do you guys have other questions for Walt?
So when you're talking to them, I would point out to them, see, there are many municipalities that look at the relationship with their school district as adversarial. And that we have to give you some money through the TIF or whatever, then that's less money we have to do stuff with. And so that isn't necessarily a healthy relationship. And I think if you could stress to them that, look, we're all in the same boat together here. And we have been really good neighbors with you guys and let you have money to develop with. We didn't argue with you over it for a long period of time here, over 25 years now, probably 30 years. But we're at a point now where we need some help. We at a minimum, we need to renegotiate what we're doing here with you. Because if you don't, we're being hurt by it, and our financial options are limited. If you're not going to, work with us on this, then the quality of the program or the existence of the program becomes questionable, more questionable than it otherwise would have been. So it's in your best interest to keep the school here. Why do most people go to communities? They go where there are schools. And if there's good schools, then you get more people than you otherwise. And so that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to be the best advertisement we can for the community by having a great school here. I give them a tour of what you're doing and point out that, look, we need you to work with us on this.
Yeah, I think it's a fair conversation because when I was looking at, that's why Dollar General and Casey stood out to me, because for what they're paying on taxes to the school is lower than most of the people sitting at this table. So I don't think taxpayers be overly excited, but like assuming if they're doing stuff with it, then yeah, it's fine. I think it's okay to some degree, but at the same time, funding's getting cut everywhere, and
yeah,
we got to look at all our options too. So
yeah, definitely.
I don't think it hurts to have the conversation. I agree. I think it's the right move. We have had a good relationship, I feel like, with the city on a number of fronts, and I would think that if we sat down together, we would have come to some kind of mutual agreement.
If you have any more questions, feel free to give me a call.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it, Paul.
Thank you all.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Is that,
Oh, is that all your stuff?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I thought I came in with more. Yeah, and if I hadn't, by the time I got to the car, I'd be missing my phone.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you know it's done. On that other note, we know things take a long time, so Bob was able to talk with Al about,
Yeah, so I've been able to, this came up at the last meeting, at our August meeting, about potentially transferring some money from Fund 20 to a CD. Al has given me the rate of 4.15% for 12 months. All of our other CDs are pretty much 12-month CDs as well, so that keeps things pretty consistent. I just tentatively used the figure 200,000 because that's what the others had in it as well. And if you're still interested in doing that, then the next move after the meeting, I'll send out, we're ready to do this, and then we'll get the paperwork rolling and get that going.
yeah, I don't think we're gonna be ready for anything like real quick here, so let's make money while we can. You guys
There'll be an action item a little bit later on, coming down the page a little ways, and we'll vote on that.
we have the potential to be more than 200,000?
Could, but I, again, with us going into some capital projects, I think we want to just, be cautious in that regard.
Do you remember what he's paying on our main account? We had him, he did agree to raise it at one point,
I think you did, but I don't recall
So
that.
we're not- We're earning
I think that's 2
something on
years
that
ago.
rest of that money too.
Yeah, well, I mean, 4.15% is more than what we're getting it sitting in a savings or sweep account, as we call it.
Yeah, but when I raised my internal accounts, Bob had a discussion and then he raised ours a bit, yeah.
Like
Okay,
4 1/4 on the loans.
all right, the 26 seniority list. You guys get a chance to look at that?
You want to talk committees?
Oh, it's just not lit up, so I didn't.
No.
Yeah, do you guys have any committees that need to be meeting? I think I need you guys to pick dates for Matt. So this is not gonna be a committee, it's gonna be an actual meeting.
I can't do the one in September. The other ones.
I didn't remember what that.
Just throw the dates out.
I got 9:30, 10:07, and 10:08, 5 PM. The most number wins.
We can go a
What'd
little
you
later,
say?
but I just ran with that.
9:30, 10:07, or 10:08. This is to
This
meet
would
with
be.
Matt.
Oh, Matt.
So instead of committees, this is built as a whole.
So like I said, I have the quotes from Matt for the capital projects that we're looking at. And so it's a good idea to sit down with Matt and get kind of to get the story behind the numbers, so to speak. So giving you guys a chance to ask him questions and look at what he's brought us. And those are the dates that we're looking at. But that's when he's available.
So a Tuesday, a Wednesday, and the next, and then
2 Tuesdays and Wednesday.
I can't do the 30th.
I don't want to do
I prefer one of the other two as well.
7:30, how many we got? Who can
I'd
do
rather do-
Tuesday?
I'm gonna do
I can
the.
do that one.
I can do either one.
Eight.
I'd rather do Wednesday.
Yeah, you're swamped right now.
Oh, yeah, well, not just one, whether you're for my birthday and then get covered that week.
8th,
I'm good all.
you have football still? You're busy?
I am, but I can make it.
Which one?
I can do either one. I might be a few minutes late.
That's all right.
Wednesday, hump
Let's
day?
do Wednesday.
And then I think after that, unless you guys need to meet before, then the committees can start gathering their
Wednesday,
thoughts.
8th at
10-8.
10:08.
Okay, I'll get back.
You did it
5
at 5:30, I think. Is that right?
Said 5, right?
Oh,
We're
5.
aiming for
5 o'clock, or is
5:30.
that too early? I mean, it's up to you guys. I just kind of randomly chose that.
Nick,
I mean, I would prefer it to be a little later, but I'm not.
But you
5:30, 5:45?
5:30 would be better.
Let's do 5:30.
Yep.
Maybe we might have to feed Nick.
Yep, that's what I do that.
We had a foundation meeting. We obviously talked about spaghetti dinner. Tomorrow, Jen and Jared signed up to help. I don't remember what time, Jared, you're helping early.
6.
Okay, I might give you the boards, because I have some of the boards from the Tonica Fest that they want to set up. The cardboard things with the displays for the,
Oh, sure.
I got those.
It was very nice. How did you get some people coming over to the table?
Yeah, we had a pretty good
Oh, yeah.
crew going
Yeah.
through. We had a pretty good group of people coming through. I think they really like the yearbooks.
Uh-huh.
Is what I got. I think you were telling me somebody wants to help restore the 1925 one or
Oh, I
something.
don't know.
Or somebody told me that. I don't know.
I was talking to you about it.
You told me
I
that.
didn't- Yeah.
I can't remember who told me that. Because it was kind of late in the night. Things were a little fuzzy.
We need to do that though.
We have a bunch of them right back in that room that are just sitting there, so we might as well use them.
I know they wanted to do something with the old one that was 100 years old, so I've got them. They're right there. I bought the ones back, so we'll have to put them back in the room.
Okay. How do we find out who that was? You're gonna find, nobody knows.
Harley said, yeah, somebody said
I
they,
just had the idea of doing it. People do it digitally and.
I bet you we
I
throw it
thought-
out on Facebook. Somebody-
yeah, I thought somebody said they wanted to help with it. I don't know who it was. I was
Well,
told.
maybe
Harley
if we
must have
could
told me.
question on Facebook, if somebody wants to help us restore that.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool to have one that was 100
Since
years
Amy's
old.
not here, Tracy, can you make a note to ask when we can post that, or if you can post it?
But yeah, I mean, I think that part went well. Like, people seemed to like it. The displays had good pictures of kids and staff and everybody. So
Really
it was
appreciate
a little
it.
windier than we thought, but it held up. So the kids that were there liked the freeze pops.
Sure,
We had way too many, but I mean, they were like $10 for 200 of them. So it was.
sure. I don't think they go back.
I don't think so. They're still.
That would be in good shape with freezing temps.
Yeah, they'll be fine. I mean, they only eat like a third of one, but. And then the other part of the foundation, we talked about the teacher grants. So Tracy made a form that I believe was sent out this week. That by the end of October, like 28th or 29th is the deadline, but for teachers to submit their grant requests, and then we'll approve those, review and approve them at our November meeting.
I think in the past, sometimes they stuck with little stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean it.
No, it doesn't have to be. I mean, yeah, they have a pretty good bucket, and if there's something we need, like we can talk it over, or we need to piece it out. We've got some donations,
That's how we got
the bigger
the
donations.
3D printer.
So they have some funding if the teachers need something to help. Usually the foundation sticks with things that enhance the student experience. So,
Instructional.
yeah, enhance instruction. So they've been doing a lot of stuff with Makerspace, other things. Yeah, tomorrow at the dinner it's $13, like I said.
And we can buy them at the door?
Yeah, you can buy them at the door. We'll have a thing for donations too. You can donate. You can always donate to the foundation. So.
Thank you. Okay, now we can move down to action items. The seniority list, do we need to review that? Is that pretty self-explanatory?
So just to kind of clarify, there's a number of action items here that are traditional at this time of year. We approve our seniority list, any contracts over 25K, reaffirm our support for our bullying policy, and risk management. There are no changes to risk management plan. It's just one of those good practices that we need to annually approve that each year. So that's kind of the nature of the idea behind these.
And then the transfer funds, and then Tricia suggested a raise for baseball and softball. And then do you want to go over the last one?
When we get to that motion, I'll Tracy and I will
We're not
take
motioning
that.
them all together?
We do a group separate.
Well, we'll start at the top. If somebody has questions on the seniority list, can I have a motion to approve it?
So moved.
Second.
Can we do roll call each time, or can we do it at the end? Can we switch it to doing it at the end?
Now you got to do it each.
All right, roll call.
Olson,
Yes.
Gans, yes. Zimmer,
Yes.
McLaughlin,
Yes.
Bernadoni,
Yes.
Contact.
Yes.
Riddick.
Yes. Motion to approve the list of contracts over 25,000. Almost.
I'll second it.
When you're ready.
Gans, yes. Zimmer,
Yes.
McLaughlin,
Yes.
Bernadoni,
Yes.
Contact.
Yes.
Riddick.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
The board policy on bullying, can I have a motion to affirm support?
Second.
When you're ready.
All right. Zimmer,
Yes.
McLaughlin,
Yes.
Bernadoni,
Yes.
Contact.
Yes.
Riddick.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Gans, yes.
Motion to approve the risk management plan. Second. Roll call.
McLaughlin.
Yes.
Brigadoni.
Yes.
Contact.
Yes.
Riddick.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Gans, yes. Zimmer.
Yes.
Can I have a motion to approve the transfer of district funds to a 12-month CD at 4.15?
Motion.
Second.
Are you ready?
Brigadoni.
Yes.
Contact.
Yes.
Riddick.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Gans, yes. Zimmer.
Yes.
McLaughlin.
Yes.
Motion to approve the raise in baseball and softball officials rate to 70.
All motion.
Roll call.
Contact.
Yes.
Riddick.
Yes.
Olson.
Yes.
Gans, yes. Zimmer.
Yes.
McLaughlin.
Yes.
Brigadoni.
You guys want to talk about this one?
So ALOT program, I gave you kind of the copy of the contract is embedded into the agenda, but I'll kind of give you a brief overview and then Tracy can chime in if she needs to or wants to. But basically, there's a program that is managed, that's funded by a grant that the ROE manages. And so we get the opportunity to gain a staff member that basically would serve as a mentor. They would support students with SEL lessons. They would support students in a small group. They would support students individually or in large group, depending on the nature of the need. And so we pay just a fraction, pennies on the dollar as part of our EDF money that we contribute towards that. And so the bulk of it is 99% of it, my term, is paid by the grant that the ROE manages. And so we're excited about this because I think it provides our students an opportunity to get some support that doesn't currently exist. And so we have to guarantee that there'll be a caseload of at least 32 students, in which we will do that. And so again, we're going to get the opportunity to gain a staff member that's not paid by us, but our students are going to benefit greatly from it. And so I don't know if you want to chime in on anything on that.
Yeah, so ALOP stands for Alternative Learning Opportunities Program. This is essentially the person would be hired under like substitute title. However, they would be a mentor. It's for grades 4th through 8th grade. Any student that we determine to be what we would determine at risk. It could be social emotional, it could be academic at risk, it could be attendance. When we heard about the program, I was like, we could use, the fact that the ROE, they're funded under the ROE, but we would have them full-time in-house. And this person will work very, very closely with our social worker who's only here 2 days a week. And so I asked the staff, I said, if you had a fairy godmother who could come and say, hey, we're going to get another staff member to help, would you all say yes? And they all said yes. And I said, well, it's not a fairy godmother, but it is the ROE. And actually, I was like, we were all like, yay. And I actually just received an email this afternoon. We have a candidate. So the ROE's been vetting and looking at, they know our school profile, they know like what we're looking for. And so they've kind of been screening candidates, and they actually have somebody, and they're going to bring them for an interview with me on the 26th of September. So guys, hopefully.
Just to clarify,
It's pretty-
Tracy mentioned this is important, is that this person would work very closely with our social worker, who is here only 1 or 2 days
Yeah.
a week.
Yeah.
That this person can't satisfy minutes that are stated in IEP, but they can support students that are under her direction in a variety of ways. And so it's a very good opportunity for our students to get some support that doesn't currently exist. And so we're excited about that.
And the number one thing is that the parents of the students that we identify that would benefit from this program, parents would have to sign a permission form to say, yes, I would like my child to be a part of it. I hope everybody sees the benefit of it, because who can't use a mentor in any way, shape, or form, right? So I think it's going to be a really good positive experience, and kind of really does go hand in hand with, what we need currently. So
Is it a format letter? Like,
yeah,
I
there'll be
just
a
worry
letter.
like sometimes stuff I get from can be generically worded,
The
but
ROE's got a template that we
Actually,
can
the
use.
mentor would end up calling the parents personally.
okay.
So we have one at Ottawa. We had 3 last year. We're down to 1 this year. I mean,
I just don't want parents to
Great.
dismiss it.
it's a great resource for
It's a
kids
great
that need the help. So I think it's a great addition to the school. So So,
We have it in Oglesby, we've had it for 2 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Is this
Just
relatively
like the
new,
junior
or
high.
has this been around for a while?
2 years. I
No, I
mean,
think
this
it's-
year and last, well. they
There was
started
a
it.
pilot one that they did for only a couple schools the first year, and then it was last year.
Is it to make up for like COVID issues or like no child left behind or just
Yeah,
a
so
need, filling a need?
I mean, it's definitely a need. I don't know what the reason was for starting it. I know they got the grant to help pay for that, but. I mean, I
More
don't know
social
how-
emotional.
And it's needed, it's needed, and, you know, we're not exempt from that, and I think that everybody in this room can say, you know what, if we can get more support for our kids who are at risk and provide them tools so that they can, you know, grow and learn in all areas, not just academically, that's gonna be huge. So we're really excited about it and just glad that we can welcome another, and this is a full-time position, so this person will be here 5 days a week, which is massive. We're excited about it.
Can I have a motion to approve contract with ROE 35 for the A-LOT program?
Motion.
I'll second. Roll call.
Burdick,
Yes.
Olson,
Yes.
Gans, yes, Zimmer.
Yep.
Laughlin. Yes. Bernadone.
Yes.
Contact.
Yes. We're gonna go into executive session. I believe there's no motions afterwards, right, Bob?
Correct.
There are none.
There are none.
All right, we're gonna sign off the stream for now, and we'll be back later.
17.
Sorry.
7,
I have the
4.
little sheety, Mafucci thing. The sheet to read off of.
Yes.
We'll get that. We get a motion to go to executive session. I'll motion the motion.
Motion to go to.
All right, Olson.
Yes.
Gans, yes, Zimmer. Julie, executive session, yes, no.
Sure. Sounds good.
Bernadone.
Yes.
Sounds great.
Contact.
Thank you all, yes. Thank you.
Contact.
Yes.
Burdick.
Yes.
Laughlin.
Yes.
Mark it, but then I never actually. All right, 7:24. All accepted.
Thank you, Ricky. Thank you.
Thanks, Ricky.